let's get right into it. So you've just powered through all the steps of the Six Sigma defined phase. You've got your problem statement, you know what's wrong, and you've got that itch, right? That urge to just jump straight into improving things. I totally get it. But stop. Right there. Before you take a single step further, we've got to talk about what is maybe the most critical moment of this whole process.
I want you to think about it like this. You're an archer. You've got the best bow, the straightest arrow. But if your aim is off, even by a tiny fraction, you're not just going to miss. The harder you pull back, the more energy you put in, the more spectacularly you're going to miss the target. All that energy you're about to pour into improving things, it'll be completely wasted if you're pointed in the wrong direction. That's why aiming, that's everything.
You see, the final step of the define phase isn't about launching into action. Nope. It's about a tough, honest, rigorous self-audit. It's making absolutely sure your project is built on solid bedrock, not, a one-way ticket to disaster. This is where we plug every single potential leak before the ship even thinks about leaving the harbor.
And this whole audit process, it has a name. It's called the toll gate review. Now, I know what that sounds like. Toll gate. Sounds like a bureaucratic roadblock, another pointless meeting designed to slow you down. But I want you to completely reframe that. Don't think of it as a hurdle. See it for what it is, your safety net. This is the one thing that will save you from wasting weeks, maybe even months, down the line.
So here's the formal definition, right out of the ASQ handbook. The whole point is to make sure your understanding of the problem has reached like a microscope level of detail. It's what ensures that when you get into the measure and analyze phases, your team stays absolutely laser-focused and doesn't wander off track. It's like they say, right? Sharpening the axe doesn't delay cutting the wood, it makes it a whole lot faster.
So this tollgate review really just boils down to 3 huge checks. Let's start with the first, and honestly, the most fundamental one, checking the why. We have to pressure test the entire logical foundation of your project, because if there's a crack here, believe me, the whole thing is going to crumble later on. So, is your logic truly unbreakable?
And the first way to test that is with this question right here. I want you to go back. Look at that high-level business case you wrote at the very beginning. What did the business actually ask for? Now, look at specific goals and metrics you've set up, your CTQs. Do they directly solve that original problem? I mean, if the business is screaming for cost savings, but all your goals are about making things look prettier, you've drifted way, way off course.
So here's the deal. Your logic has to flow in a perfect, unbroken chain. It has to. It all starts with the voice of the customer. What are they really saying they need? That then translates into their critical needs, the absolute must-haves. From there, you figure out the quality drivers, the specific things like speed or reliability that make or break their experience. And only then, at the very end of that chain, do you land on your measurable project goals. If there's a weak link anywhere in there, you are solving the wrong problem. Period.
Okay, so once you've confirmed that the why is rock solid, we can move on to the second big check. We need to check the what. And by that, I mean the tangible documents, the actual deliverables that prove you've done your homework back in the define phase.
And at the very heart of all your deliverables is the project charter. I mean, the definition's right here on the screen, but let's talk about what this thing really does. This is not just some piece of paper. It's a contract. It's a promise. It sets crystal clear expectations for everybody involved. It acts as your team's North Star when things get confusing. And maybe most importantly, this is the document that gives you the official authority to go out and make change happen.
Here's another way to think about it. Your project charter is the source code of your project. When things get chaotic later on, and trust me, they will, this is the document you all come back to. It is the single source of truth that reminds everyone what you set out to do, what's in scope, and just as important, what is out of scope. You have to lock it in.
And the charter is just the beginning. A truly successful define phase ends with this whole checklist being complete. Do you have a comprehensive project statement? Because if you don't, you're just inviting scope creep. Is the team charter actually signed? If not, get ready for chaos over who does what. Have you mapped the process? If you haven't, you're basically flying blind. Do you have documented proof of the voice of the customer? Without that, you're just guessing what they want. And the big one, does everybody have an agreed-upon definition of what success looks like? Each and every one of these needs a big, fat, green checkmark before you even dream of moving on.
Which brings us perfectly to our final, and you could argue it's the most important check of all, the who. You can have perfect logic, you can have flawless documents, but if you don't have total alignment and buy-in from the right people, your project is already dead in the water.
So I want you to ask yourself this, and be really honest. Before you go any further, have you stood in front of your sponsor, your key stakeholders, and your entire team, looked them right in the eye, and confirmed one last time, is this what we're doing? Is this exactly how we define a win? This is your last best chance to catch any misunderstanding or misalignment. Because once you get that final, clear, unambiguous yes from everybody that matters, well, that's the moment. That's when you officially get the license to fire. You have the mandate, you have the resources, you have the full backing of leadership to take your plan out into the real world and make it happen.
So, that's the final check. The whole point of this entire rigorous tollgate review is to live by this one simple mantra. You resist that powerful urge to just act. You take the time to aim perfectly first. And only once that aim is confirmed, locked in, and signed off on by everyone, then you go all in with total and complete confidence.
So now we know the theory, but what happens when this goes wrong in the real world? What happens when a project charter just says something vague like, improve efficiency? Well, next time on our explainer, we are covering the biggest don'ts of the define phase, and you are going to see exactly how that one tiny mistake can completely tank an entire project. You are not going to want to miss it.